Literally, I sent him the beat, right? Less than an hour. It must have been like 45 minutes later. He texts me back and he says, delivery. And so I want to play just a little bit of it.
Oh, he already got on it?
Yeah. Hella fast. He snapped too. Shout out my boy Ken.
It's Chile in this bitch. My G still got the boogers in his eye. Kato. That's how early we at it. If Russ ain't hot, then who is? Please share. Ain't a nigga better than me that breathe air. I'm rare, like steak with the blood coming out it. Cheese, gold with the slugs coming out it. I perform in the venue, get crowded. I hustle.
That's all you get. But yeah, he went crazy. I feel like me and LaRussell, if we really locked in, we could do a whole project, you know, like a whole EP of just bangers. I'm heavily influenced by, you know, Dre and Snoop and just like a lot of Cali, West Coast, Bay Area vibes. And that's why a lot of my beats just have that bounce to it. So I guess it makes sense that a lot of West Coast artists hit me up, produced a lot of songs for West Coast artists, but we'll see. 2025, maybe? It's possible. So the other thing, right? You don't even know this. We're gonna take a field trip today. I thought it'd be fun to take a stroll down memory lane and show people the apartment that I used to live in, where these two plaques behind you, for all of Jaron's projects, all his early projects, we recorded them and cooked those songs up in my old apartment. And it's only like 5 minutes away from where I live right now. We're gonna go back and just, you know, catch a vibe, jump in the time machine. The DeLorean, Marty. We about to go back to the future. So, the place we're going to right now, I honestly don't even know if it still exists because I literally haven't been back since I moved out. And this was my apartment back in, man, this must have been 2010, 2011. Prior to moving to this apartment, I moved back to Atlanta to live with my family after dropping out of school. And in the process of me living in my parents' house, they ended up getting divorced. So my dad packed up and he left and moved to Virginia. And my mom, you know, had to just figure out what to do. And so my sister and I were both home at the time. And so we ended up, you know, moving in. We found a little apartment. It was like a 2-bedroom apartment and there were 3 of us. And so I basically had a mattress in the living room and that's where I slept. And my mom was in one room, my sister was in the other room. We had one car and my mom got a job working at American Deli. And she didn't just work at any American Deli. She worked at the American Deli on the south side of Atlanta. And the owners, this old Korean couple, they didn't speak a word of English. And yet they somehow managed to understand everything that their customers were like ordering and saying.
I'm gonna get an egg roll with it.
It come with Edwa. It come with Edwa. It come with Edwa. It come with Edwa.
And so yeah, anyway, my mom worked at that American Deli for a while. I was going to school at Georgia State at the time, so I was going back and forth to classes, and my sister was working a part-time like bartending job. And so that was our life for a couple years until my mom kind of decided that she had enough of that and she moved back to Utah where she had family. And so then it was just me and my sister. And so we had to find another place to move. So my sister and I found this apartment complex that we're about to go to. And yeah, that's when I started just getting super active with the music and the beats and the production. Me and Jaron started working together. My grandma's basement. A lot of songs from Huffing Glue with Hasselhoff. A lot of songs from Freebasing with Kevin Bacon were all recorded in that tiny ass $600 a month apartment. That was like the funnest time for me as a producer. Even though I was broke as shit, I had literally nothing. I was kind of on my own as a 20-something-year-old kid, and I was just trying to figure it out. It was really tough for a couple years, but it was like fun, you know? I know where we are. Bro, it's all coming back right now. This is where it all happened, bro. This is crazy. That was my unit up there. Where it all began, I had I forget what year it was, but it was a Honda Civic. I used to park right here in this parking spot. And I remember coming out one day, walked around, I see glass just all over the ground. And I was like, no! I don't know who it was, but someone broke into my car. They stole my GPS. You know, back then it wasn't like built into the car. I actually had like one of those Garmin GPSs, and it was plugged in. Someone ripped that shit out of my car and just ran off. And then also after that, I remember I came out one day and my car was just gone. It was just gone. And I didn't know if someone stole it. I can't remember how I figured out, but basically the bank repossessed my car. I fell behind like a couple months on the car payment. And so I didn't have a car for a little bit. Eventually I got it back, but yeah, that all happened while I was living here at the time. My sister, before she moved to Seattle, we were living together at first. We were paying $600 a month for a 2-bedroom here, which is insane, right?
That's crazy.
$600 a month for a 2-bedroom. And so when we found this spot, we were like, what? $600 a month for, like, what the fuck? So obviously it was a no-brainer. We were like, yes, we'll move in today. Eventually, she got her own unit. She started her own company, and she was like making things out of her apartment, and we just needed more space. So she ended up renting the unit across from me, which is the balcony across from mine.
Did you get any noise complaints?
I got a noise complaint like once, but they weren't really like pressed about it because everyone was fucking loud. But yeah. Got the family garden.
Oh, we got some carpet flooring.
The only thing about the carpet is that when it was like raining, the carpet was always wet. So it was like squishy. Anytime I came out, it was like. It's crazy. So that was my unit. This is where I lived. That's where my sister lived, right across. Damn, this is wild. Oh, hey, what's up everybody? My name is Kato. Welcome to the Bando, AKA my studio. I remember I came out one day and there were just these 2 small stray dogs. And so I ended up taking them in, and like, I didn't have the money to afford to take care of 2 dogs. And so I was like trying to find them a home. So I think I put them on Facebook Marketplace. This family ended up reaching out to me, and they ended up like taking the dogs in. Yeah. I remember this spare bedroom on the top. I don't know what happened, but there were thousands of ladybugs in that spare bedroom. And so when my sister moved out, I just kept that door shut at all times. By the time I moved out, I checked in that room and there were just fucking dead ladybugs all over the floor. It was insane. Schwinn, who's now my wife, she met me while I was still living here and she hated coming over, bro. She was like, I hate your fucking apartment. It's just a constant reminder for me of like how all this shit started for me, you know, and now I'm in a nice ass like $1 million crib. It's like I'll never be far from that feeling, you know what I mean? And that always keeps me grounded. I can never let my ego or my head get too inflated because it's like, yo, I'm 7 minutes away from the place where, you know, I was living with roaches and my car got repossessed and broken into and I was too broke to afford, you know, anything, you know what I mean? So even though I'm living where I'm living at now, it's just wild. They always used to use this parking lot down here. You know how it's like a dead end down there?
Yeah.
There always used to be guys like fixing cars.
And they're still fixing
They're
cars.
still there. They're still there fixing cars, bro. That's crazy.
Sometimes things don't change, man.
Yeah. Came a long way. Came a long ass way. All right, let's get out of here before we get robbed. I will say this, the best part about being in that position is it just makes you hungry. You know what I mean? I was like so focused. I was laser fucking focused on, I gotta get it, you know? There was no plan B for me at that time. Like I had to make it work with the music shit because I was dedicating so much time and energy into it, and you know, I was already sacrificing a lot to be in that position and to do what I needed to do. And so it just made me super motivated and hungry, and that I think is the reason why I am where I am today, because I didn't give myself another option. I'm not trying to tell people that you have to be all in like I was. That was just what worked for me. But for other people out there that are in similar situations where, all right, you're trying to figure out how to make music your full-time job, you have to do it in a way that works for you and your lifestyle. For me, when my back is against the wall, that's when I figure it out. That's when I'm the most like, all right, I just gotta lock in and figure out how to get out, you know? I feel like now, you know, there'll be times where I catch myself just like being too comfortable. And I think being too comfortable is a bad thing, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're in the music business. Like, it's a very, very, very tough business. And if you get too comfortable, you're gonna fall off. I catch myself in those moments now where if I feel like I'm getting too comfortable, I have to find other ways to like challenge myself. I have to make my life harder intentionally. I start my day every single day with things that are the most difficult. Cold plunge, I work out, I go for a jog, all the things that add that extra stress. I think that's a good thing because it keeps you hungry. You know? All right, so we're about to head back to the crib. I'm gonna do some cooking, see what we can knock out. I don't know what type of vibe I wanna make today, but we'll figure it out. all you have to do is literally press a button, select which key you want. It'll literally just like generate an endless number of melody, chords, like whatever you want. We trained it, so we just ran like thousands of my own melodies through the model, and then it learned like what kind of chord progressions I like to use, like how I like to put my melodies together, and that's how this thing works. Yeah, it's dope because like now you don't have to go to Splice to find already pre-made loops and shit that everyone else is using. These are completely original. I think it's better, in my opinion. I mean, I still use Splice. I still use like loops that other producers send me, but I use this a lot of times just to get like ideas started, and I can drop the MIDI directly into my DAW, and I can like play with the sounds and like find the exact type of like texture or VST that I want to use, and I can still like rearrange notes and change it around. So it still allows me to be fully in control of like the creativity. With like a loop or a sample, there's only so much you can do.
Kato on the track.
Shit's DUN, done. Yeah. Get Katy Perry on that one.
Oh yeah, Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. Maybe T Swift. Taylor.
She was not.
I'm gonna hit you up. This one's for you. I gotta say this for all the producers. I feel like it's important to just show up every day. You know, you don't have to aim to make like the craziest beat that you've ever made in your, don't put that pressure on yourself. Just sit down, create whatever comes to you. Let it live in the moment and be what it is, you know, and then move on to the next one. I don't like to stress about trying to attach expectations to my music anymore. I just cook. I just create. And sometimes that's how you'll make your best shit. Other thing, coming up with titles for all my beats. What's the first thing that comes to your head? Just say the first word.
Shaboing.
Shaboing. All right.
No.
Shaboing. Shaboing it is. All right, folks, that's the end of episode 2. You know, just to recap, we went to my old stomping grounds and saw where everything started for me. And then we came back to the crib, cooked up this beat using my AI model, shout out to Lemonade, and titled it Shaboing. Banger. Yeah, I don't know necessarily like what we're gonna call these vlogs, or I don't even know what exactly we're doing yet, but felt like felt like the good thing to do, just to give y'all kind of some more insight into just my everyday life and things that I think about, and I just wanted to share them with y'all. So like and subscribe. See you guys next week. Shaboing it is.